Hello everyone and welcome to our 50th episode!
Yeah, baby!
Clap, 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 clap.
I can't believe we've made it to 50. When you first phoned me up, Joe, and said, did you want to do a beer podcast? I thought we'd maybe get to 5, but we've genuinely made it to 50.
Funny guys, to me it feels like only 9 or 10 episodes.
And of course we have a lovely message from another founder of the podcast. Simo, take it away.
Hello, it's Simo here from Down Under. I can't believe that the I'll Try That podcast has made it to its big 50th episode. We're only getting better, just like a fine wine. Just thank you for all your support. Thank you for listening. It's going to only get better and better as time goes by. And yeah, just thank you for everything. Absolutely epic, absolutely spiffing. And can't wait to continue our journey. Whoop, whoop.
Ha ha ha, good one, Simo.
Well done.
We knew exactly what he said.
Very well said, sir. Excellent.
Well done. Well done. So yeah, 50 episodes. Well, thank you very much everyone for sticking through it with us, through the good times and the bad. I think bad episodes, there were a couple of those which we probably gloss over, and a few very good ones, which I think we still laugh about to this day. I think Corona is still talked and laughed about in Rich's mind.
I remember you said, a few good ones, a few bad ones, and then loads that were just bang average.
Yeah. Those that are making up the numbers. So welcome to 50.
You know what? My parents have really enjoyed every single episode.
Well, I'm very proud to say that the Druids are also keeping up to speed with every episode. And I know, the first and foremost, thank you very much, family, for keeping involved with it. But I'm very pleased to say, friends, very much are next on the second list of cornerstone listeners. But we are now reaching a good number of people across the globe with this podcast who are tuning in every week. So just want to say thank you to all of the listeners, from those who've been with us from the very start, through the painstaking editing processing and the kind of the figuring out how to actually edit the podcast, all the way through to our new listeners who are picking up and just loving listening to the chemistry and the laughing and the rambunctiousness, I think, that comes through with a few episodes, with a few twists and a few facts thrown in there.
Would you guys mind if I gave a particular shout out to somebody?
Oh, all right.
No, I just want to give a shout out to it's a lad who's been listening from the start. He's called Ollie Payne, and he's listened to every episode, and he works with me, and he keeps chatting to me about the podcast, and he genuinely wants to meet you lads, and he feels like he knows you from just us chatting and all of that stuff. So I've just got to give a big shout out to him.
Well, thank you very much, Ollie, for getting involved. And actually, Ollie, that's a great compliment. We'd love to, meet more and more people. And actually, the more people that I've spoken to who have shared similar experiences with Ollie, in that it actually is a fun medium with podcasts, that you do feel like you're a part and you get to know people over time. And there's been a lot of other people who have also commented likewise about the podcast. So thank you everyone for all of your support and the encouragement to keep this going. And we've said right from the very start, we started this podcast for fun. We will continue to do this podcast because it's fun. And, the day it stops becoming fun, we'll, probably hire someone else to do it for us.
I'm also just going to throw it out there. If anybody wants to send us any beer to sample, I'm there for it.
Yeah,
send
all right.
it away.
Can do.
I know, we're building on the hype. We've already got some beer from Purity Beer in the past, so we're very much excited for new beers that might come down the line.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Right. Back by popular demand, we thought for our 50th episode we had to do something special, and there have been so many people that have enjoyed and liked the first episode of the Cheap But Good tour, where we sampled beer that was relatively cheaply priced but tasted good, and that was at the Lidl supermarket. So we thought for our 50th episode, for the second part of the Cheap But Good tour, we had to do Aldi.
Yes,
bang, we're on.
What a fantastic store Aldi is. It's exactly the same as Lidl, so I am there for it. But my Aldi's slightly more staff than Lidl. Just going to throw it out there.
4 letters, high value.
I love this. And Aldi, as you said, is the be all and end all when it comes to the counterpart to Lidl. Lidl and Aldi very much positioned in the same way, but Aldi has a very different path to Lidl. So they might have all cropped up here in the UK at about the same time, and their international expansions are probably, market to market very similar. But do you guys know about Aldi South and Aldi North?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Educate the boys, Joe.
So in 1962, two brothers who started up Aldi, they were still working through a big disagreement, about how to name these groups. So that's where Aldi North and Aldi South came about, because it's taken from the first two letters of Albrecht and Discount, which is their names, apparently. Don't know where D and N... Anyway, Aldi North took over stores in North Germany, while Aldi South became responsible for stores in the south of Germany.
Wunderbar.
So this border between the two became known as, anyone?
The Aldi divide?
Oh, you were so close with the Aldi divide. What else could it be?
The Aldi separation?
Think about worlds. The Earth. What splits the world?
Oh, the hemisphere.
The Aldi equator.
The Aldi equator.
The Aldi equator.
Nice.
So the two businesses have become financially legally separate from 1966, and by that time there were 200 Aldi South stores in Germany, and they've just kept expanding from there. So you've got places like the US, which so far is only tapped into by Aldi North.
Oh, okay.
And then you have other countries where it's only Aldi South. So they really are like a family business that split themselves into legally, like we're different now.
It's interesting because isn't there? I swear, is it Adidas and Puma have a similar origin story in
there's
Germany?
two brothers and they split up. Exactly that.
I find that absolutely I genuinely did not know. So which Aldi do we have in the UK?
Guess.
I bet we've got South.
Fine, I'll go North.
It's the North one.
It's the North. Suck it, Barber!
What a fool I've been.
Right, so we're now sampling some of these fantastic beers, and who wants to kick off? What they have? Why don't we list what we have? Because again, similar to the Cheap but Good Tour episode 1 from Lidl, we actually don't know what each other has purchased at this establishment. So, Barbara, what beers do you have right now?
So I got lured in. So I've got a few here, but I started first on knowing that there was a little bit of a story about it. I am drinking the Anti-Establishment IPA. I'm sure listeners will remember there was a bit of a story between Aldi and Brewdog. This is, I hope it doesn't do the beer too much of a disservice to say that this is the Aldi equivalent to Punk IPA. There's a bit of a similar taste going on, if that's not too much of a shocking revelation for everyone.
Well, I think on that, I think it's hilarious. I mean, this is exactly as you said. We talked about it, I think, on a pod, as a hot topic, where Aldi basically ripped off Punk IPA, and Brewdog went on Twitter. They didn't legally sue them, but they basically said, "Hey, that's not on. All right, fine. We'll make an Aldi IPA, an Ald IPA, which was one of the only brands that were ever put into Aldi shops." And so anyway, Aldi then changed what their knockoff of Punk IPA. They had to make it a little bit further afield, and so hence Anti-Establishment IPA. It's very funny.
It's knocking on the door, though, isn't it? It's still knocking on the door, like there, and they're running away.
It does strike me that they resolved that dispute very quickly.
I think it was resolved out of mutual PR and publicity benefit. And you can see from this Anti-Establishment IPA that they have what looks to be the ABV circle in what I would only describe as the American flag. You seen this?
Oh, that's a good point.
Can you hold it a little closer to the camera, just so I can...
That's a good point. So there's the ABV, where you have your 50 stars.
And as we know, the US is the biggest punk of them all, breaking away from the UK colony at one point.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say they were the biggest consumers of Punk IPA. Yeah, the little rascals. In fact, we're only 3 days away. We're only 3 days away from Independence Day.
So yeah, I do think there's a nod to it, and also as well knowing that Aldi is in the US as well. This might be a play to kind of sell more in the US as well. So hey, it's very, as Barbara alluded to. I'm also drinking the anti-establishment IPA. Taste wise, similar, reminiscent, quite full bodied, I'd say. I don't know. I'm getting a different aftertaste than what I get from Punk IPA. Of course, it's not a real carbon copy. What are you tasting in that, Barbs?
Yeah, so you've caught me reading the blurb that they have put on the can, and they're calling it a genre-defining beer. Presumably that's in reference to their own. A little bit of that tropical that you would come to expect. I think there's also the caramel note, which seems to be quite prevalent with the IPAs at the moment. But a little bit of that of bitterness as well coming through towards the end, which I think has been part of the success of beers like this lately. So overall it's a little bit punchy for some. It's pretty well rounded.
For a replication beer, or sorry, I should say a homage beer to Punk IPA.
Homage.
Do you think it does the Punk IPA taste justice?
Maybe I'm an old economics graduate, or aspiring to be one at the very least. I think for something that cost me 99p, it's a pretty good simulation. Yeah,
I think you've hit the spot on the money, or hit the spot on the wallet.
Oh, dude, you've just done one. he's done a Malafor. Spot on hit the nail right on the spot. That's my bugbear. I'm on the money, or I've hit the nail on the head.
I've done them both.
Excellent. I've hit the nail on the money. Thank you.
Hit the nail on the money. But it's true. It's a price point thing. I think that's a very tasty and kind of drinkable beer at the 99p.
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 Less than a pound.
Where it's in a slightly blue slightly blue can, which seems quite reminiscent of Punk IPA. So you could dupe those people from that little bit further away, the non-beer drinkers, that you are actually drinking a Brewdog at that time. Right, Richard, we've gone on a lot about anti-establishment IPA. What have you got?
So I thought I would bust that. As I've probably made aware on this podcast, I am not the biggest stout fan. So I thought I would try one of Aldi's stouts that they had on offer. And I'm a big fan of the name they have on the can, because it says "Stout About It."
Yes, yes, that's very good.
Good news, Aldi. He likes the name. We've got the resident harshest critic on this podcast, is Travis, because he hates everything.
Now, I am well and truly there for Stout About It. I think is they've gone above and beyond.
The only thing that could have made that name better if they'd have called it Stout About Town.
Oh, Joe, only if you worked in marketing.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we've got a ringer in on this podcast.
So I went for Stout About It, the vanilla stout. I don't know if you guys picked this one up.
And passed me by, I'm afraid.
Oh, I might have. Is it in a big can? Show me the can.
Big old...
Yeah, I have that in the back of my fridge. So I must say as well, at this point, at this juncture, I am going to sample 3 beers for this episode, but I have probably about 12 others downstairs that I bought for no more than £1.50 a can, I would say.
So yeah, so I've gone for Stout About It, the vanilla, the vanilla flavoured stout. I've not tried it yet, so hold on to your hats.
Would I look like I'm being really pedantic here, but surely no stout about it.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
Like the vanilla is coming through like strongly, which I'm pleased because like I've tried some flavoured beers and it's gone, we've got this in it, and you can't taste that for love nor money. It's nice, it's smooth. I think I paid like £1.20 for it.
You didn't like Guinness, as I remember. So is this a stout that kind of works for you a little bit more? Do you feel it's heavy?
It's heavy, but it's not as heavy as Guinness or anything like that. But I'm genuinely a fan of this vanilla flavoured stout. I'll throw it at that. I wouldn't drink it regularly, and I wouldn't go out and buy it actively if it wasn't for this podcast. But if you're a stout fan and want something a little bit cheaper,
there you go.
And with the vanilla hit, definitely give Stout About It a go. Even if you just buy it for the name, because the name is on point.
Unfortunately, it sounds, Jobs, like of a £1.50 per can, you're putting the value of that name at about £1.30 for some reason.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's not good. But you're valuing that quite highly.
Well, I might shout about it.
The next one I'm going to try is called the Freak Ale Works Phantom Pale Ale.
Oh, wow.
Look at this design. What does this remind you of? Think of a beer brand that we have tried not that long ago that we are big fans of, who do quite interesting illustrations.
Beavertown.
There you go. Beavertown. Now, I'm really pleased you called that out because they have styled this design. This is an Aldi owned by Aldi UK Limited, and this is their Aldi-owned design can, and just like the anti-establishment IPA, they have taken some liberties here with some of our much-loved craft beers, and this design on the can of the Freak Ale Works is quite reminiscent of a Beavertown. Now, it is further enough away that Beavertown could possibly not sue them for it, but the illustration style and what they're doing with it is quite interesting, and it's even more apparent on the lager version that I have downstairs, which is a yellow-based can. And, which is, Beavertown's colour is yellow, is a version of yellow. So anyway, it's very apparent that is a nod to Beavertown's style of illustrations.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of Beavertown. I genuinely, since doing it on the podcast, I now actively go out and buy it on a regular basis sort of thing. So I'm intrigued to see if this can hit on the Beavertown notes, if they're going to try and replicate it.
Beavertown is the gentleman's name escapes me, but is the son of Robert Plant. Yeah,
Slogan Plant.
I was thinking how good would a load.
He's from Worcester, don't you know?
Worcester, that's right. There's a local connection there. I was thinking how good song titles would be for names of beer, particularly Led Zeppelin ones, which, fair play, I guess Beavertown, they thought that would be a bit of an obvious connection. But I think there's some excellent beer names to be had from songs, particularly by Led Zeppelin. Black Dog, The Lemon Song, Stairway to Heaven.
Do you think with all of those, though, you'd have to get Led Zeppelin's permission to call your beers those, though? I think that's probably why it hasn't been done.
More than likely. I imagine that they might be won over by me telling them that I own more than 2 of their albums on actual proper CD. That might just win them over and they waive it for me. If I
think the story that how Jack Black was able to get a Stairway to Heaven. Was it Stairway to Heaven on for School of Rock? Where it was used? No, it was the Immigrant Song.
Oh, another great name for a beer.
Yeah. So Jack Black used there's a scene in School of Rock where they basically have but there's the whole setup is that they're going towards the end of, the Battle of the Bands, isn't it? So it's in a big stadium, what a big, concert hall. There's thousands of people, and Jack Black basically used those thousands of people to make a video plea to Led Zeppelin to allow them to use the Immigrant Song. So maybe if you want to do something like that, they might let you use one of their songs as their name for the beer.
I just need to prove to Led Zeppelin how big a fan I am. Cool. With you.
Can I just point out something for the School of Rock there? I remember reading a tweet about the School of Rock was we should be amazed at how the promoter of that Battle of the Bands managed to fill out a venue for a rock concert at 10 o'clock in the morning. Which is...
Oh, is that the time of day?
That's some early riser rock fans.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
The most punctual rock fans in the business.
What time is it? 10 a.m? I'll be there.
Yeah. I heard Jack Black's playing.
Yeah, rock concert 10, lunch at 1. No, we're sorted.
Right, we're going back to Freak Ale Works. Freak Ale Works. Right. So it's crafted in small batches using Citra, Mosaic, Topaz, Ella, and Galaxy hops.
Nice.
There's a 5 hoppy hopness going on right here.
There's
a 5 levels of hopness.
I've talked about the levels of hopness before, I think. So this is definitely on there. I'm definitely getting a 4 level of hopness going on right now. So
Damn
it is a
those
pale
hops.
ale, so it's meant to be, quite smooth. I think the word phantom pale ale is something quite interesting with the taste because it feels a little bit vacuous. Like the taste palette, it's nice very at the start, and then it very quickly runs away from you. So the phantomness, it makes me feel with the taste quite vacuous at the end of the tasting palette.
So you could drink it. Are you saying you could drink it as readily as you might a lager?
No, I'm saying that you get the taste very quickly, and then it suddenly runs away.
Oh, okay. So it's short-lived.
Are we going back to that reference that I talked about, when you drink a glass of juice and there's a little bit of squash in there left over?
Yeah, but you use that reference. You can't muddle your references up, otherwise the metaphor police will get on you. But basically, you use that for non-alcoholic. This is not a non-alcoholic beer. This is 4.8%.
Okay, so would it be like you've made a squash but only added a little bit in?
Again, you've just gone back to the same analogy. Try to think of a new one. We'll give you some time. We'll go to Barbara on his next beer, and you have some time to think of a new thing for this beer.
Okay.
Quick segue. I've tried another one that I thought was quite interesting. Half pipe. To me, looks like Drabbers, you've got yourself a half pipe as well.
You better both crack it open, and then while Barbara talks about it, you can get the taste going.
Yeah,
Travis.
session pale ale. You mentioned interestingly, and it's one where I'd really like to learn a little bit more about the profiles of these. But lots of hops involved: Cascade, Goldings, Admiral, Centennial, and Columbus hops. So hard to pick out any number of those. This beer does describe itself as being particularly fruity. It may be that I've moved across from the anti-establishment IPA that we were doing before, but for me, I'm kind of getting a bit of a nutty thing going on here. I'm not getting as much of the fruity sort of stuff. I'm getting and I can feel it sort of in the roof of my mouth moving back ever so slightly. It's got this nuttiness. It's kind of, which actually, despite the long number of the long list of hops we have there, that to me speaks of being a little bit more malty. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I'm definitely a part. This is the first time I've tried it when you suggested opening it, and I tried it and I pulled the face that's kind of like, ooh, kind of that face, because this is nice. This is really nice. No, I was going to say, and I get the nutty thing you're going on about here, and I get but I also get it describes it as a fruity hops with a zingy bitter kick. I'm also getting that at the same time. So
I don't know. I think I'm maybe confusing nuttiness and bitterness. I think it does also say that it has a bit of a bitter finish. I'm picking up on that quite a lot. But I swear there's a biscuitiness here, which in my experience of drinking beers with having reviewed the hops that they have was a Simcoe hop. I swear it's the Simcoe hop that gives you a bit of a biscuity. You guys look like you're laughing at me a lot. I do not appreciate that. I'm trying to take you boys seriously.
In my experience of reviewing beers, just really got me.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier on, we've done 50 episodes. You guys have done 50 episodes. I've done 9, if that. It's now there's people actually have to listen to me when I drink a beer, whereas normally in a bar I just have to shout at the barman.
So what's happening with the packaging? Are they trying to replicate anyone that you might recognise?
Not that I can identify. Do you know, Drabbers?
No, I don't think they're trying to replicate anybody. No, what I was thinking, we looked at Tiny Rebel and they look like an energy drink can at the end of the day when you look at it. Like, you look at it and they've got a skeleton grabbing his skateboard on top. This wouldn't be your typical beer can or your typical IPA can that I would throw out. It's still very kind of kiddish, I suppose would be the word that I would put out.
You could legitimately pick this up thinking it's a can of Monster. That's,
Guys, you've hit the nail on the head. I think they're trying to replicate Tiny Rebel with that design. Honestly, I think they are.
Yeah?
Like, it's quite childish, it's quite fun, it's quite almost energy drink-esque.
Yeah.
Half pipe, it's very juvenile to call something half pipe. Skateboarding, I used to skateboard, I loved it. I used to fall over more than I do anything else.
Tony Hawk's furious with what you've just said. I don't mean to name drop, but I hear he's a big fan of the podcast as well. Sorry, Tony. He didn't mean that. Joe didn't mean that. He thinks that skateboarding's really grown up and
No,
sophisticated.
that's Mr. Hawk to you.
Sorry, Mr. Hawk. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's from trying it. It is a fantastic taste, and I'm really enjoying it. For the price I paid for it, I am wowzers McTrousers.
I think that's good. I think we'll leave it on that. For wowzers.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I have to tell you about this.
What's just happened to you?
Wowzers McTrousers indeed. So, I have just cracked open a can of William Brothers Paolo Peach Pale Ale.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Ain't that a
Peach Pale
peach?
Ale. Now, I must say outright that this is not an Aldi-owned beer. Williams Brothers is a brewery up in Scotland, and they do make quite a lot of beers, and Aldi happens to be one of the places that they stock. So you can go online.
What does it taste like, Joe?
I've also have a Williams Brothers beer, which isn't the same as yours, Joe, sort of thing. So I might crack that open at the same time.
I've also got the blood orange one. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I've got that one too.
I've got that downstairs, but I was more intrigued by the peach. And if I'm honest, this is a bright pink can, or peachy coloured can, as you can imagine. I don't know where the Paolo is coming from, if I'm honest. Should be something Paolo Peach. Maybe that's some sort of goat. Maybe they've gone down that route where they're starting to call farmyard animals, after the beers. Anyway, it is.
Sorry, Joe. Did you just assume they've named beers after goats or farm animals?
Yeah, well, we were on an episode not that long ago about purity. Yeah, you weren't in this one, Drabs. You didn't want to join it for some reason. I don't know. And
Cheers. That's it. Just make it out like I didn't want to be there. Technical difficulties.
Joe, just quickly, what's the thing you want me to read on their website?
their website name, please, and address.
Oh, hello, Joe. Bill's going to do it for you. I think their website is www.williamsbrosbrew.com. Does that sound alright? Have I pronounced that correctly? I really wish you two would laugh a bit more, Hey.
You sound like a character from the Austin Powers film.
Oh,
Fat.
that's me.
There we go.
Fat something or other. I can't even remember. Thanks, Drabbers.
I'd say that, but it was also a very good Billy Connolly
Aye,
impression
it was
as well.
meant to be Bill. Drabbers just said it's someone else. I didn't mean it to sound like him. I wanted to be this funny guy who does comedy or something.
Good. It's a very good Billy Connolly impression.
Thanks, pal. Anyway, tell us about the beer, Joe. The peach one. That sounds lovely.
So, this punchy pale ale, porous golden, releasing aromas of sweet, ripe peach with a hint of tropical hops. All the juicy fruit up front is balanced by a crisp, clean, bitter finish. Now, I've just had a sip for them. They've definitely got something right there. There is a lot of tropical notes in this one. Obviously, there is peach. You can taste peach. If you like peach, you're going to like this one. If you don't like peach, you probably won't like it. But
if you don't like peach, why have you picked it up?
If you don't like peach, I wouldn't drink it. I'm just going to put it out there.
Life's
Also,
a
if you don't
peach.
like beer, that's a double whammy. You definitely don't have it.
Oh, this isn't my cup of tea at all. I was expecting a glass of rosé.
I was expecting the peach pale ale to not be like peach or pale ale.
That's phenomenal, Joe. I think we need to remind brewers that they should only brew beers with flavours that people like.
But my point being is there's so many different flavours out there. And this is, as a pale ale, but a lot of people would turn their nose up at fruit flavoured or flavour infused beers. I would say that. The purists among us would say, oh no, it's got to be an IPA, it's got to be a bitter, it's got to be, you got one lane or the other. Whereas I'm enjoying the experimentation and the innovation that's coming with infusing different kind of beers with different kind of fruits. Now, we have talked about when that's gone wrong. I think, Rich, with the little beer, you had a bubblegum infused one that was not your cup of tea.
Yeah. It was possibly one of the worst beers I've ever had in my life. There was just nothing positive about it.
So it can go wrong. And I would say that the peach pale ale from Williams Bros Brewing is a win. I think it's very tasty. I think it's a good The pale ale is a good base for it. One of my favorite beers of all time is a Montauk. It comes from the States, and it's a watermelon infused pale ale. Delicious.
Ooh.
This is quite reminding me of this.
Travis, you don't sound sold on these fruit combinations.
No, okay. Well, then I've possibly shot myself in the foot because the next beer I'm going to put across is I've brought some questionable beer combinations to the podcast before, sort of thing, and
God, anything could be coming now.
and no, and generally I brought one that I think I may like. Was what I wanted to come across. Like I've not said very positive things about these combination of beers before, like the bubblegum one. So that we had the lemon one that came across. It is the Hop Foundry, which is they also made the vanilla stout that I tried earlier. Stout about it. So
Did you pick up on
there's
names
also
as well?
another great name to this one. So this one is a strawberry lager.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So this one's a strawberry lager. Can you guess what it's called? So the last one was stout about it. What's this strawberry lager called?
Berry Minster.
No, not. That's a good guess, but not Berry Minster.
Lager, berries, and cream. Sorry, that wasn't
No.
imaginative enough. Really.
No, not lager, berries and cream. It's called We're Jamming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
Yeah. All right. Let you have that.
So this is a strawberry lager. Cracking it open.
While you taste it, I'm going to give you a fact about this. So the Hop Foundry, similar to the Anti-Establishment IPA company, they're all Aldi owned companies. So these aren't independent breweries that are selling in Aldi. These are Aldi owned companies.
I'm curious about the limits
Okay.
of Drabbers' beer combinations. I'm sure there's going to be an episode coming up soon where Drabbers go, do you know what? I found a nice IPA infused with the flavour of parking tickets. Let's see what it's like.
Okay, so can you guys picture tasting a strawberry, a fresh strawberry?
Yeah, I'm going to put you in my mind. It's very topical right now. I'm at Wimbledon. I've never been to Wimbledon, but I always eat strawberries thinking I'm at Wimbledon because Wimbledon and strawberries go hand in hand. Okay, Andy Murray's just lost, and I'm just.
There's someone in the background shouting, "Come on, Tim! Come on, Tim!" It's going to be his year. Tim Henman's going to win this year. I'm convinced.
And it's juicy. It's quite sweet as well.
Yeah.
Strawberry. You kind of get a bit of a sharpness with the strawberry as well, but it's nothing like a blueberry. A blueberry is way too sharp in my mind.
Yeah, Drabbers, are you drinking this beer thinking I'm sat on centre court next to David Beckham?
This tastes nothing like strawberry or lager.
Cool. What does it taste like?
If you take away the strawberry and the lager from a strawberry lager, what are you left with?
There's no noises. There's just some real facial expressions.
Carbonated water?
Okay.
Has it not got any flavour of strawberry in there?
No, it doesn't taste like strawberry. I've eaten strawberries. I've had strawberry syrup. I've had many strawberry different base products as well as a strawberry. This doesn't taste like a strawberry.
Drabbers' whole strawberry CV is really coming into its own now.
I've got extensive strawberry knowledge. This isn't a strawberry lager.
So is it like it's not sweet at all? Is it not? Is it anything?
It's a little bit bitter.
Have you had a seltzer water before?
Yes.
Is it like that?
No, I've had hard seltzer, and I've had the hard seltzer with flavouring in it. The hard seltzer has more flavour to it than this supposed strawberry lager has. You think of lagers. You think of a bog standard lager like your Carlings, your Carlsbergs, your Fosters, and stuff like that. They're no frills lagers. They taste fine. Everybody enjoys them. This doesn't even taste like a lager.
Do you think they've made like a carbonated drink? They put it into cans. They've loaded it into one end of a truck, and the other end they've put some strawberries in the back, and then they've just driven around a bit, and then they just hoped that the strawberry flavour has somehow got into the can.
There was basically strawberries were stored in the warehouse where this beer was kept, sort of thing, and they've gone, oh, okay then, there we go, this works.
They made a lager, and some guy was just over the crate going, whispering at them, strawberries. Think strawberry thoughts.
You're a strawberry. You can be a strawberry.
yeah. And I'm genuinely disappointed because their stout about it, with the vanilla stout, tasted like vanilla. And it had that vanilla hit as well as the stout hit as well. And I was genuinely impressed by it. And I had good hopes because I've had cherry beers before. And they've genuinely tasted like... I've had a cherry lager and stuff like that. And they've tasted like cherry. And it's been really, really nice. And it's been fizzy and it's been bubbly. And it tastes like cherry. And I was expecting something like that with a strawberry hit. I don't know if I'd set the bar too high in my head because stout about it was on point.
No, I think your expectation going into it of a strawberry lager, that it would A, taste like a lager, and B, taste like strawberry, and the fact that it doesn't taste like either of them is very fair, that your expectations were there. So I think that's a swing and a miss from that Aldi product.
You've had you've had a hit. One hit, one miss. These things happen after all.
Right, Barbara, what's your last one?
So I've got a third. Well, I'm having to get through these at the rate of knots at the moment. I'm just about doing this. I also have a Williams Brothers, and it is the Blood Orange IPA. I'm going to crack it open this minute and savour the taste accordingly.
What's it called though? It's Williams Brothers.
Oh, sorry. There's in the biggest typeface on the can. It's called Otis. The fact that you've asked me makes me think you might know something about this.
I wish I did. I'm just more going the fact that mine's called Paolo, and yours, there's just the peach pale ales we talked about earlier, and then you've got a blood orange called an Otis.
The only thing I can think of there as connection-wise between the names Paolo and Otis is a musical thing. I'm thinking Paolo Nutini and Otis Redding. Does that
I have
sound
to
about
feel
right?
like it's something to do with the ingredients. Paolo for peach, Otis for orange.
That makes a damn sight more sense than I.
No, they went for an obscure music reference.
Yeah, Paolo Nutini. You listen to him and you think, "Wow, this just sounds like a peach." And I haven't tasted this yet, but in my head, it's going to taste just like what Otis Redding might have tasted like. That's a little bit niche, I can see.
I would have loved to have thought that they could name them after Paolo Nutini and Otis.
First sip, and I'll let you know straight away. I've got my nose over the top of it, and the blood orange flavour is, it's there. It's there. 1 second.
Oh, you get some blood orange coming in.
Yeah.
Now, I have a general question. I don't know if I can tell the difference between an orange and a blood orange.
I think I can, but actually articulating the difference between the two, I would struggle with.
I'm exactly there with Barbara. I can, but I can't describe it.
So this one is definitely a blood orange over just an orange.
This one is definitely a blood orange.
Oh, well, so it is, but at the same time, I think I may even have been taken in a little bit by it. The fact, because ultimately I have seen the can says blood orange before I've tasted it, so I think my mind is made up. I don't think it's as sweet as a regular orange. But Travis, go on.
No, I was just going to say, did we try an orange-infused one from Lidl? Was it a blood orange or was it an orange? The one with the diver.
Yeah, I think it was orange. It wasn't blood orange.
I remember making the comparison that it was like really orange, and then from the first episode that I ever joined in with you guys, I had the Naranjito Brooklyn, which was obviously an orange influence. But didn't slap you about the face with the fact that it was orange. I remember making this comparison. The one we tried from the Little episode was really grabbing you by the neck and saying this one's got orange in, and I think this is doing the same, but with blood orange rather than a regular orange.
I was going to say I can taste the orange, but I can't taste much else. It's kind of like orange and water.
I'm getting the blood orange, and to me that also old stereotype, but to me it feels like it's a summer drink.
Yeah, definitely a summer drink. I'm not gonna turn my nose out of it because it is very tasty.
This is one that I find hard to make a comparison because ultimately our goal here is to say, can you go to the competitively priced supermarkets and get good craft beers? I think the answer to that is yes. Although for me, it's hard to make this comparison between the blood orange and previously the orange IPA with another one, because if I'm being quite honest, I can't think of another beer that I drink as regularly, which is so orange, orange themed. So maybe you guys can help me out here. What's the one I should be comparing this to? With Anti-Establishment, it was easy. Sorry, Trebs, go on.
Tango.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking from the beer world, you know.
Well, I think to go. I'm sorry to kind of jump off that.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point. It's an interesting point because you are meant to be. And the whole point of this, of what we're finding with Aldi in comparison as a standalone place, is that they like to play on and take liberties, let's say, with the other craft brewers that are out there. You know, we've talked about Anti-Establishment IPA. You know, it's a punk IPA copy. We're talking about, you know, design that looks quite similar or instyled or influenced by Beavertown. You know, we're talking about other design that looks a bit styled and influenced by Tiny Rebel. You know, like Aldi, in comparison to Lidl, both, you know, are on this cheap but good tour, and we are finding thoroughly coming out and saying there is good beer for affordable prices out there. You know, we've done 8 beers right now, I think, at least, and only one of them has got Rich's nose turned out of joint. Giving you another metaphor there, Barbs.
I love that.
And
Killing me.
And so I'd say it's a win overall. You know, that's a good percentage.
Yeah.
So I just want a comparison. Now we've done Lidl and Aldi. They are both very similar supermarkets. We can say that they've both got that middle aisle that sells all the stuff that you really, really want. It both has its own brands that it's selling all up and down. Just if I can we'll go from Barber first, and then we'll go to Joe, and then we'll go to myself. Just thinking back, which selection of beers have you preferred out of the 2 supermarkets?
That's really hard. I'm gonna say Lidl though. There was again. There's the comparison between, because ultimately what they're trying to do is, what we're trying to do here is can you get good craft beer for a cheap price? And I think Lidl delivered on that a little more. I don't think there's anything wrong with these Aldi alternatives, and I'm very conscious of the fact that these cost me 99p per can. But I don't know. I was just a little bit more enamored with them, and I felt maybe I could even be biased by the fact that we dealt with them first. But I feel like the Lidl ones, I felt I was pushing the boat out a little bit more, which is kind of what I feel the craft beer is about.
I feel with mine, I'm agreeing with you. I think Lidl for me took the biscuit out of what I've tried. Now, again, I must caveat that I've had 3 out of the 12 beers that I picked up from Aldi earlier on, so I will over time, probably over the next couple of weeks, get through the rest of those beers. I should probably say actually the next month or so to be a responsible drinker, but probably it will take me a couple of weeks.
So next week you'll come back with us with a review.
But I would say that actually although Aldi, I'm trying beers that are made by other people that aren't Aldi owned beers, whereas all the ones that I had from Lidl were Lidl, like, positioned beers.
Yeah.
I think because Lidl weren't trying as hard, that's what's turning me off a little bit from these Aldi ones. The fact that these are replication, they're trying to be carbon copies.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to be funny, but they're also not really living up to the expectation of the beers they're trying to mimic. I think that's what's letting, for me, Lidl down. The fact that Anti-Establishment IPA doesn't taste like an IPA, a punk IPA, is a detriment, even though it's a relatively good beer. The fact that it doesn't taste exactly like the beer that they're trying to rip off, I would say is why I would feel that Lidl is better than Aldi right now. It does feel
there's a kind of a business side of things. There's almost maybe, is it fair to say that there's a bit of a dick move being pulled and being like,
I think it's quite fun. I think it's fun that Aldi can poke fun at themselves. I think that's a plus for me from it. I just think the problem is they have an expectation. People have an expectation that the beer is going to taste similar to the beer that they're trying to mimic and the brand they're trying to mimic. And the fact that it's not going to, because it's not made by these fantastic brewers. It's made by a company that makes beer for Aldi. Not to discredit them, but the beer is always going to be a little bit subpar to those more premium beers that you're going to get from those other breweries.
Just a little bit.
so I'm gonna say my piece as well. Like,
no.
No. Oh, okay. But I'm definitely in line with you boys. Is I've preferred the Lidl beers, but I don't know if that's because my local supermarket is a Lidl, and I've had more Lidl beers than anything else sort of thing.
Put a bit of brand loyalty in here.
There might be a little brand loyalty in there, but I can't snub Aldi's beers at all. I think they have put. The ones I've tried tonight have been absolutely fantastic, bar the strawberry lager, which has been absolutely awful. Never ever drink it, never ever buy it. But I'm also there for Aldi. I'm not going to go and buy their beers again, and I'm definitely going to go and buy Lidl beers like I do consistently. I think they're both great.
Interesting litmus test. Just quickly, for maybe the final word on this, Trappers, is which one do you hate more? Out of the I'm trying to think what they are now. The bubblegum beer and the strawberry lager. Which one do you hate more?
I hate the bubblegum beer more because of what it's trying to be and what it's trying to represent.
So that means you like Aldi beers better then?
On that basis, Aldi have it.
You heard it here first, everyone. Rich is the biggest Aldi fan. He loves Aldi. He doesn't like Lidl at all. He's not a fan.
The harshest critic on earth has spoken. He hates everything, and the thing that he hates most was created by Lidl. Tough luck, Lidl. Joe, is there any numbers on Aldi? Do they have a specific? That's not even a segment.
They're a big company that's split up by families, and they're all over the place in different countries. So you can Google them, and they're around. Plus, also, you're probably not going to be following Aldi on Instagram, if I'm quite honest. It's not really the brand that's like, oh my God, did you see what Aldi posted earlier on? It's not the one, unless they get into a Twitter beef with another brewery, which they will do on a regular basis because they're carbon copying.
Is it too late? Have you paused it?
No, I'm pausing now.
Well, I'll have the final note. I hope you all enjoyed the 50th episode, everyone. The other two have finished, and I'm just doing this rogue. Thanks for joining. It's been a really excellent journey. I'll try that after hours, where Barbara's had a few, and he wants to talk to some of the needy listeners. I've stopped.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barbara,
And Simo.
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter.
I'll try that podcast.com.
And watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.